guys, welcome to another episode of Legacy Speaks. Today we're going to talk about how to combat compassion fatigue. If you didn't see my previous video about what compassion fatigue is, the signs and symptoms of it, and who is susceptible to it, I need you to hit pause and double back. Actually, I need you to watch this, then watch that video. Alright, do whatever works for you, but either way, watch both videos. Yes. But yes, today we're going to talk about practical solutions for combating compassion fatigue. But before we dive right in, I need you to hit that subscription button below. That way you can stay up to date on newly released content on a regular basis. So let's dive right in. It's a party, y'all. Oh my goodness, yes. I know I said that I was going to jump right into the solutions, but let me give you like a disclaimer. There are a couple of don'ts that I need you to be mindful of. When it comes to tackling compassion fatigue, burnout, or actually any other emotional distress response, I need you to be mindful of not self-medicating. Self-medicating can be overeating with food, shopping when you really don't have the money, or just overspending in general, using drugs and alcohol, basically using some type of substance or unhealthy behavior to fill some type of void. Another thing we need to try to avoid is blaming others for their experiences and circumstances. Like we mentioned in the previous video, oftentimes with compassion fatigue, we have a sense of cynicism, having a poor attitude, and irritability. So when we get to a place of you, although the finger pointing and also blaming individuals for what's going on in the world, that's when we need to take a step back and simmer down a bit. Another thing that we need to be cognizant of is the overuse of unproductive complaints, because obviously complaining doesn't do much for our circumstance or situation. Another big no-no is becoming a workaholic, and y'all, I am the queen of being a workaholic, so I'm talking to you from just straight up experience, okay? And I know this is very counterintuitive to our 24/7 grind culture, but oftentimes when we're diving headfirst into our work, we're basically using this as an avoidance tactic, and we're not getting into the heart of the matter of what we're truly experiencing. And realistically speaking, all you're doing is extending your days at your job, extending your days at your office, and lengthening the time that you're dedicating to that specific task, which increases more resentment regarding our time and more resentment towards our responsibilities. So please refrain from just becoming a workaholic and trying to utilize your work as a distractor, okay? Please listen to me, okay? Listen to me. And another don't, I think this one is the most important out of all the don'ts that I mentioned. Please do not neglect your own self needs. Like we mentioned earlier in the other video, anytime we find ourselves neglecting our self needs and not doing our usual day-to-day activities, our regular things that gave us a sense of enjoyment and fulfillment, that's when things start becoming a whirlwind and a tornado in our lives. And to be honest, it seems like neglecting your own needs is literally the precipice for all of the other warning signs that are out there regarding compassion fatigue. All right, y'all, it's time to get to these solutions.
About time. How long?
All right, a great place to start is increasing self-awareness. When we are more mindful of our triggers and warning signs, we're able to kind of pinpoint where these things started coming about. I often find that we give our heart to things that we've experienced in our own lives. So ultimately what happens is we leave ourselves wide open and vulnerable for trying to overextend ourselves in these spaces. For example, and these are just examples, these two things aren't necessarily correlated, but an individual who may experience relational trauma based upon being betrayed by a friend of some sort, they might go over and beyond to ensure that they remain a greater friend to other people. So because they were hurt by somebody else, they'll make it their point to make sure that every other friendship is just amazing, and in essence just overextending themselves because of that one particular situation that they've experienced. Another way to increase self-awareness is to do an examination or autopsy of all of the beliefs that you've established over time, especially from childhood. If you are somebody who was taught early on to put the needs of others before yourself, then you're probably going to experience compassion fatigue because you're in a place of self-sacrificing or you're deemed as an empath. By practicing relentless honesty, you're going to become real transparent about your threshold and your tolerance levels. Another thing is to take active inventory of all of the external sources that are contributing to this unmanageable stress. So thinking about what news stations that you're watching, what is popping up on your social media feeds, what conversations are you having with family members and friends. This knowledge will ideally lead to establishing and maintaining healthy boundaries with not only yourself, but other people as well. It's okay to unplug. It is okay to take a break. It's okay to step back a little bit so that you can reassess the whole situation. During this time, I encourage you to monitor and limit your consumption as needed. That way you're staying informed with the facts and not entertaining the day-to-day dramatizations of what's going on. Another pro tip would be self-advocacy, and this is similar to establishing and maintaining boundaries. Oftentimes we find ourselves in a place where we need to effectively communicate our needs and our desires. We do not want to operate from a space of automatically assuming that the other individual knows our thoughts, needs, and wants, right? There is no guarantee that the other individual has the emotional intelligence to be able to discern how you're feeling. Also, nobody is a mind reader, so communication is key. Definitely make your needs known, because 9 times out of 10, if you keep saying that you're okay, people are going to actually believe that you're okay.
All right. You said you was okay, and then that. All right, you're okay.
Self-advocacy is all about empowering you to take your power back and to enforce your God-given authority. So what that looks like is regulating the content and the duration of your conversations, redirecting the topic at hand. You even have the right to dispel any myths and shut down nonsense in love. And I know that can be hard because you gotta filter through the BS, but right now you need to be in a place of trying to protect yourself emotionally and mentally. Another key component to this agenda is building resiliency with self-care. We often find that individuals who deal with compassion fatigue did not have a long-term, genuine self-care regimen. And I would like to reiterate that self-care has to be something that is beneficial and ongoing. So what this looks like is having a healthy diet, having a proper sleep hygiene, and doing activities that bring fulfillment and enjoyment as well. Another thing that we tend to sleep on is being kind to ourselves. So what does our self-talk look like? Is it positive? Are we using affirmations that push us closer to our goals? What types of conversations are we having with ourselves? Identify what's important and live as such. That also includes establishing a healthy support system. Guys, we cannot do this journey called life by ourselves. So please, 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 please maintain those positive relationships as you are tending to your mental health needs. Before we wrap up, I want to circle back and speak on one of the most detrimental symptoms of compassion fatigue, and that is denial, which is really huge because denial can look like saying that we're okay when we're not okay, suppressing and ignoring any of the signs and symptoms that may come about or manifest in our life, using our title or position as an excuse for pushing past our limits and our thresholds. Whoo, that one hit, huh? I know that one hit. I know some people can relate to that one. And even taking on too much because we feel like this is our burden to bear. And this creates an irrational belief that if I'm not down for the cause, then I truly don't care about it. Or if I tap out, then I'm a bad person. Going back to increasing self-awareness, in order to do that, we have to continue practicing relentless honesty with ourselves, guys. And this is just a shameless Jesus plug. The great thing about being a part of the body of Christ is recognizing that even though I am uniquely and wonderfully made, I am not the only person with my gift and talent. Yes, what I do is amazing. Yes, what I do is specific to the calling of my life. But ultimately, God has created other people who can also fill the gap when I need to take the step back. The burden of mental health and advocacy is not my own. There are other amazing counselors out there. There are other amazing therapists out there. And so when I need to take a step back and just reassess my own personal needs, there are plenty of people that I could refer to. There are plenty of amazing clinicians out there that I can just refer out to, and I just really appreciate that. So whether you're a nurse, teacher, crisis worker, caregiver, whatever, it's okay for you to tap out and ask somebody on your team for help. Whatever capacity you operate in, I definitely encourage you to give yourself permission to relinquish control and to delegate those perceived responsibilities to other people until you're able to pick those things back up. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Legacy Speaks. Please hit the description box below because I'm going to drop some resources from the Compassion Fatigue Project. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And definitely stay connected via Legacy SPKS on everything. Until next time.